Imagine excavating a ruin over 2,000 years old and finding something so advanced it could easily belong in a modern engineering workshop. Sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, right? But this has happened, and more times than you might think. Throughout history, ancient civilizations created gadgets, methods, and structures so impressive that even modern scientists scratch their heads trying to figure out how they were possible. And we're not just talking about pyramids or massive temples. We're talking about complex mechanisms, mysterious materials, and techniques so refined that in some cases, we still can't replicate them with the same perfection. What's even more intriguing, many of these discoveries were lost to time as if humanity took a step backward. It's as if our ancestors had flashes of genius, and then, for some reason, simply forgot how to do it. In this video, we'll travel through different eras and places to explore ancient technologies that were secretly more advanced than some of today's. Get ready to discover everything from bronze computers to indestructible concrete, magical glass, and maps that defy logic. Now hold on to this. Some of these inventions weren't just advanced, they might have been far ahead of our time. You're at the bottom of the Aegean Sea in 1901. Greek divers are exploring an ancient shipwreck when, among statues and amphorae, they find a rusty, gear-filled block. At first glance, junk. But when scientists began studying it, they uncovered something that would change how we understand ancient technology, the Antikythera mechanism. This artifact, dated to around 100 BC, could calculate astronomical positions with astonishing precision. It was like an analog computer. Yes, a computer made of bronze gears, used to predict eclipses and planetary movements. What's most impressive is its complexity. Dozens of interlocking gears so perfectly crafted that their true function was only fully understood with modern tomography. And here's the question that leaves everyone stunned. How in an era without mechanical lathes or factories did someone manage to create such precise gears? Today we still aren't entirely sure who designed it, whether it was Greeks inspired by Archimedes, a secret held by a few scholars, or something even more mysterious. The fact is, after this invention, it took over 1,000 years for anything similar to appear again in Europe. It's as if someone invented a laptop in antiquity and then threw away the password. Imagine building a structure today and knowing it will stand strong for over 2,000 years without major cracks or heavy maintenance. Sounds impossible. Well, the Romans did it, and not just once. Practically all their monumental architecture is a testament to this feat. The secret was Roman concrete. Unlike ours, which starts deteriorating within decades, theirs grew stronger over time. The trick? A mix of lime, seawater, and a special volcanic ash called pozzolana. This combination triggered chemical reactions that healed microcracks on their own. The result is still standing today. The Pantheon, with the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, has been standing since the 2nd century. Aqueducts, ports, amphitheaters, all enduring centuries of weather, earthquakes, and wars. Here's the kicker. Even with all our modern engineering, we're still trying to replicate this exact formula. Scientists have analyzed Roman concrete samples under microscopes and recently discovered that white clumps in the material acted as self-healing capsules. It's eco-friendly, durable technology created before the word ecology even existed. And here's a provocative thought. Will future generations look at our buildings and think we were less advanced than we seem? Ancient Rome again? Yes. But this time, the story is even stranger. There are accounts, part historical record, part legend, of an artisan who presented Emperor Tiberius in the 1st century with a type of glass that didn't break when dropped. It's said that when the object hit the ground, it only dented slightly and was reshaped to its original form with a simple hammer. If true, we're talking about something akin to modern shape memory polymers or bulletproof glass, invented 2,000 years ago. The problem? Tiberius, fearing this invention would devalue gold and silver, allegedly ordered the artisan's workshop destroyed and the secret buried forever. Result: no samples survived for analysis. Skeptics say it's just a myth, but what if it isn't? After all, other lost materials have proven real after centuries. Imagine if this flexible glass really existed. We could have entire buildings made of near-indestructible windows or smartphones that survive any drop. This story blends history, economics, and even politics, showing how sometimes it's not a lack of technical ability that holds us back, but human interests and fears. Imagine finding a map from the early 16th century that shows parts of the world no one from that time should have known about. In 1929, researchers at the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul rediscovered a parchment drawn by Turkish admiral and cartographer Piri Reis. So far, nothing unusual, but upon analyzing it, they noticed something intriguing. The map detailed the coast of South America and Antarctica without ice. How could this be when Antarctica was officially discovered 3 centuries later and has been ice-covered for thousands of years? Even more curious, the Antarctic coastline matches measurements made in the 20th century using radar to map the land beneath the ice. Piri Reis claimed he based his map on much older charts inherited from unknown navigators. Some suggest he had access to records from lost civilizations or copies of nautical charts from the famed Library of Alexandria. The detail is that the map also features accurate projections, something that in modern cartography requires advanced mathematics and tools that supposedly didn't exist back then. Did ancient navigators cross oceans and map the world long before the age of exploration? Or are we facing a puzzle that challenges our sense of the timeline? Imagine being on a 7th century Byzantine warship and suddenly seeing the sea in front of you catch fire. No, it's not a metaphor. We're talking about the legendary Greek fire, an incendiary substance so mysterious it burned even on water, and whose exact formula has been lost to time. The Byzantines used this weapon to defend their cities and sea routes. It was sprayed through siphons mounted on ships, engulfing enemy vessels in flames within seconds. The most terrifying part, throwing water on it only made the fire worse. The secret of the mixture was guarded so tightly that only a small group of artisans and engineers knew the formula. Some historians suggest it contained petroleum, resin, quicklime, and even sulfur, but no one has managed to recreate its devastating effect with precision. Accounts from the time describe absolute panic among enemies. Picture the scene: a sea ablaze, suffocating heat, the sound of waves mingling with screams, and the crackle of fire. It's the kind of image that would stay etched in any survivor's memory. Today, even with all our chemical and military technology, we haven't fully reproduced Greek fire. It remains one of history's best-kept secrets, and a reminder that progress isn't always linear. In the outskirts of Cusco, Peru, there's an Inca fortress that seems to defy the laws of engineering, Sacsayhuaman. Its walls are made of massive stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons. And the most impressive part isn't just their size, it's how they were fitted together. Each stone fits the other with millimeter precision, without the use of mortar. The joints are so perfect that even today, it's impossible to slide a knife blade between them. And we're talking about irregular blocks with complex shapes, cut and polished to fit together like a giant three-dimensional puzzle. What puzzles modern engineers is, how without iron tools or wheels did the Incas cut, transport and fit such massive stones? And more, why choose such irregular, hard-to-work blocks when rectangular shapes would have been simpler? There are theories that the design helped withstand earthquakes, and indeed, Sacsayhuaman has survived numerous tremors that destroyed modern structures in the region. But the exact process, from cutting to fitting, remains a mystery. It's as if someone gave the Incas an advanced engineering course and then erased all traces of the manual. When we think of lenses, we imagine modern glasses, telescopes, or cameras. But what if I told you that ancient civilizations were crafting lenses precise enough to magnify images or focus light centuries before such official inventions? One of the most famous examples is the Nimrud lens, discovered in Iraq and dated to about 3,000 years ago from the Assyrian period. Made of polished rock crystal, this lens has such precise shape and curvature that it could have been used as a magnifying glass or even in rudimentary astronomical instruments. And it doesn't stop there. Archaeologists have also found remarkably well-crafted lenses at Viking sites, particularly in Scandinavia. Some made of quartz have optical quality that rivals lenses produced in Europe only in the 18th century. The obvious question is, What were they used for? Were they merely decorative, or did ancient peoples practically apply optical principles for navigation, science, or intricate craftsmanship? What's most curious is that, in some cases, the polishing was so uniform that even today, with industrial machines replicating, that perfection isn't trivial. It's another case where it feels like history is telling us only half the story and keeping the rest for a lost chapter. Today, when we think of brain surgery, we picture sterilized operating rooms, anesthesia, and high-precision instruments. But few know that ancient peoples were performing trepanations, procedures to open the skull, over 7,000 years ago, with surprisingly high survival rates. Archaeologists have found skulls in Peru, Africa, and Eastern Europe with clear evidence of surgical cuts and signs of healing, meaning the patient lived for months or even years after the operation. The Incas, for example, mastered techniques to treat head injuries using incredibly sharp stone tools. They knew how to avoid critical areas and somehow prevent infections, something European medicine only fully grasped in the 19th century. Even more astonishing, some studies show that the success rates of Inca trepanations were, in certain cases, higher than those of similar surgeries performed during the American Civil War, nearly 2,000 years later. We don't know exactly how they managed pain or what substances they used as antiseptics. It might have been a combination of herbs, fermented alcohol, and empirical knowledge passed down through generations. The fact is, these practices prove that medical intelligence isn't exclusive to the modern era, and that our ancestors had a far more sophisticated understanding of the human body than we often assume. After exploring these examples, it's clear that history isn't a straight line of progress. At various points, ancient civilizations reached peaks of genius, only for those technologies to vanish due to political, economic, or simply forgetful reasons. The Antikythera mechanism, Roman concrete, the mysterious Greek fire, impossible maps, perfect lenses, life-saving surgeries from millennia ago. They all remind us of a fascinating truth. Human intelligence has always been present, even when tools were rudimentary. And it's impossible not to wonder, what else was invented, discovered, and lost forever? How many brilliant ideas are buried in ruins or sunk at the bottom of the sea, waiting to be rediscovered? Perhaps the future isn't just about creating new things, but also about recovering what we once knew how to do. And when that happens, we might be as surprised as if we found a smartphone in ancient Rome. Now I ask you, which of these technologies impressed you the most? Do you believe there's something even more advanced hidden in the dust of time? Leave your comment below, share this video with anyone who loves a good historical mystery, and of course subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories that will turn your head upside down. Because in the end, the greatest technology we have is our curiosity.